Yeah, no kidding. You've played a lot of tournaments and all over the place. Like you mentioned, you're coming out here for a couple weeks. Do you have like a home base?
It's funny because like I have been asked that question more in the last year than I think I ever would have anticipated. And I feel like people bring it up just because they know from other people that I don't actually. They're like, do you live in California? Do you live in Michigan? Like, do you live in Florida? And man, it's been an interesting year. So obviously I moved out to California October 2018 originally. Okay. And, I lived here pretty much full time from October 2018 until March of 2020.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been very nomadic.
Yeah.
I would say maybe half the time I've spent back home in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
I spent a good chunk of January through April of this year down in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
With LT and got to practice with Phil and Nick a ton, which was an amazing experience.
Awesome.
And then, since then I've spent a month out here, a month back in Michigan, a lot of time New Orleans as well, training this year. Then all of the in-between gaps have just been driving or flying to tournaments.
Yeah. I think if there's one person who just embodies, is just like a living personification of the beach volleyball life, I think you're my nomination for that.
Yeah, I seem to have gotten that label from a lot of people. Yeah. My partner Evan Corey and I always joke that if over the last year they took like cumulative AVP America points and those were your seeding and not like 4 out of 5, but just total points,
just aggregate,
we would have like 10 times the amount of points of everybody. Yeah. But it's been a blast. Like obviously going into this year, I really wouldn't have anticipated, or this past season at least, anticipated moving around so much. And every time I thought I was set in one place, another opportunity would come up. I'd be like, well, I can't really let this pass.
Right.
And then, but it's been great. I feel like I kind of started this all back in, I think it was the spring of 2019 when I was playing with Christian Honer.
Okay.
And him and I, there was a bid up for grabs in Texas. So there was a series of tournaments in the spring of 2019 in Texas.
Yeah.
And obviously, Christian enjoys to travel a bit and play some volleyball.
Yeah.
So Christian and I were like, well, why don't we just go and try to, steal this bid from all the Texas guys?
Yeah.
So I think we went to Texas. Most of them were in Dallas, but I think we went to Texas like 7 out of 10 weekends in a row. So we had this trip to Dallas just absolutely down pat, like to a T. We would land. We knew the exact train to take us downtown. It would drop us off in front of the hotel. We'd take bird scooters to the facility, take the bird scooters back, and we'd be in and out of Dallas in like 30 hours without winning the tournaments. But we got a lot of seconds. The Texas guys showed us how to win tournaments in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since then, I've just been like, man, it's just so cool to go all these different places in the country and meet so many new people, and feel like people appreciate having people come there and not just play the tournaments, but try to meet everybody that's there and meet the new players, and obviously there's just been some crazy talent out there that I had no idea would have even existed in these different tournaments.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy when you travel, like some of these AVP Next, and you play one, and you played one in New York or New Jersey with Chris Frazier.
Yeah,
and you see these guys that you've never heard of, and they're just like bombing balls.
Very good.
And you're like, who are you? Why are you so good at beach volleyball? This is New Jersey.
Exactly. I in going to these tournaments, I'm like, well, I'm not really sure who I'm going to get to go play a tournament in New York. So I was like, oh, who do I know in that area? And I was like, Frazier. Like, I obviously. Frazier and I is kind of a strange team to put together. But he's an awesome guy. He's played with Chris Lewis a lot, so that's kind of how I met him. Yeah. I was like, he's an awesome guy. I wonder if he'll play his tournament with me. He's like, yeah, sure. So I was like, all right, if I'm playing with Frazier, like, I don't know who else is going to win this tournament because I feel like I'm playing with the only person that I know. Yeah. And then I go there and we get beat in like the first round of pool play by these two guys that I had, not heard of before, but are just incredibly good volleyball players.
Yeah.
And, you go to these tournaments and it's like, okay, I don't know you, but there's also a chance that, I just don't know you because you don't play that often or because you're on the East Coast, but
because you're just a reasonable human being who doesn't
blow
thousands of dollars traveling the country to play beach volleyball.
Yeah, man. It was, that tournament in particular was one where, I just kind of went on a whim and, played with somebody local, and it turned out to be a blast. It was awesome. The first day of that tournament, it was supposed to be on a Saturday, and it ended up getting rained out, and I thought I was going to have to go back and not play the tournament, and I was so bummed because I just wanted to play this tournament.
Yeah.
And they ended up having it the next day. I was able to get my flight, and everything changed, and it was awesome. It was so cool to just meet all of those people and so many people I didn't, had never met or even heard of their name, and it helps playing with a local guy because you don't get quite as much flack for being like the out of town guy that's just trying to come in and steal the money. But it was great. And I've had so many experiences like that over the last couple of years, just playing all these local tournaments.
It's amazing doing that stuff. Or like when you're doing these tournaments, and I think I have a feeling that your strategy for how you're going to approach a season might be a little different moving forward with how good you and Evan played. And are playing. When you were playing these tournaments, were you motivated to win tournaments, to play more volleyball, to meet people, to grow as a player? Like, did you have an intent in mind?
A lot of it was, I was in Michigan and there was no tournaments, and I just wanted to play a volleyball tournament that weekend. So if there was a tournament that I could go to, and if winning or getting second could pay for my trip, then I was probably going to do it.
Okay.
And I think it was more just like the desire to. I really just love traveling too. Like I love seeing all these different places, even places that I've been to, going back and seeing people again and playing against certain people that beat me in the last tournament. I'm like, all right, I want to go and I want to beat this guy.
That list is getting short.
I'm trying.